starting the recording, and we're good. Um, that was like I usually. Oh, dude, I forgot to do the thing. No. Oh, I wanted to do like um, I wanted to read out this thing. I'll do it next stream, maybe if I remember, perhaps. Um, Another thing. Whoa, I'm just full of things today, I guess. Um, I usually start like I put on the stream and I sing. I'm like singing a little bit. That was the first time I really like put on stream and then forgot I put on stream and kept singing because that's how I like relax before a stream or like get my voice ready to speak before a stream. Is I just like pick a song and start singing for a little bit, singing. But this the first time I actually like just kept singing and like didn't realize it. Sometimes I go with it, but I don't know. Uh so how was your day? Oh, my day was great. Thanks for asking. No, I had a wonderful day. I'm not gonna a little word of warning. I'm not gonna be here for a little bit, little bit, because I'm going off to Rhode Island for, well, yeah, I could say that. I think it's fine. The whole last state. Rhode Island isn't that big, but I certainly doubt anyone is going to be like, oh, Meteor Art's going to Rhode Island? Okay, let me drive over there and then keep an ear peeled for anyone, or keep an ear and eye peeled for anyone who either sounds like him or has the same hands as him. Though I do have distinctive hands. I don't think I have that distinctive hands, Yoshie Kage Kira. Like, I don't believe I would be in much doxing danger doing I didn't have another D alliteration. Damn it. Um but to get ready for that, apparently um the flu has been pretty nasty this year, so I got a flu shot, and I'm not going to get into flu like vaccines or whatever. I they work, okay? They don't do anything. They give you little dead parasites so you know how to fight the alive ones. That's how vaccines work most of the time. Sometimes they just give you weaker viruses. Like, they work, all right? We're not having the argument at all today. But I went to go get them at CVS, and I saw a bunch of stuff. I was just like walking around, and so I didn't realize. So I've been like all around the world ish, sort of. I don't really know. I was thinking about how to start this like observational humor ass joke. Um, but give me 1 second. Okay, we're good. I had to holler out to someone there. Um, I don't know how to start this observational joke, but I've been I was lucky enough to as a trip go to Japan, and doing so I like saw their I've been to like Japanese I forget the part of Tokyo that it is where it's like the manga and mecha section. It's like Electric Town or whatever. I forget what it's called exactly. But in their like big ass department stores there, they have like porn sections. And this is such a weird part to join in on too. But I was like, okay, it's a different culture, whatevs. I don't really care. I'm pretty sex neutral as the fact that I'm ace, but I also like don't care. So you can advertise or sell pornography. I don't fucking care. That's not my beeswax. But I didn't realize. Um, so I was like walking around the CVS waiting for the people in line to like get up and get shot already, literally. And I like walked past, because there's like a safe sex aisle where there's condoms, and I don't have to go into it. This is grossing me out anyways. And lo do I expect, there was just like sex toys there. I was like, what the fuck? This is America. I thought we were like pretty prude over here. Guess not. I can't imagine anyone buying them. Buy that shit online. I would be so embarrassed. I like physically couldn't. What? I I don't even know how to like it just like flabbergasted me. Like I don't care, but I can't imagine like that's flying off the shelves. Who the hell is going out there that gooned up where they're gonna be like, I need to buy this CVS sex toy? Like, are you crazy? Who does that? Who does that? Um okay, that was my observational bit of the day. But so what we're gonna be doing today is we're chipping away at this fucking thing some more. And what we're gonna try to do is I have wanted to get into the flowery section for a little bit now, but I've been too scared. And I've been scared because I think it's a bit of an optical illusion on my behalf that I've done to myself accidentally. Is that I feel as though I haven't dug out enough of these sides, which arguably I haven't. Haven't, whatever. Well, I haven't, but like I'm gonna jump away from that sentence because I didn't really make any sense there. Arguably, I have. Some people could say I haven't. I even say some places I haven't. Like that's why I'm digging this place out. But I've made it also just accidentally look like I need more because these flowers need to be cut off at like where the flower is demarcated instead of like sloping, kind of like this. Let me put that up to the camera. It's kind of shown to the camera, but like this is sloped quite a bit, which it makes it look like this is closer to the bottom than it really is. Because really, the level should be like at here. I should like cut off this stuff, which I'm going to. So it makes it look like I need to cut down even more of the flower, which I don't really. I mean, I'm still going to cut away a ton of it, but not as much as it originally looks so, okay? Does that make any sense? I think that made sense. The problem is, I really this is the sharpest thing here. Second or first, only close contender is this thing. And I don't want to keep... I need like an actual knife sharpener because I can, with my little eyes, I can see the nicks already getting into... Can you... I wonder if you can really like get that close to it. No, stop focusing on the cardboard. Can you actually see that? Wait, look at the little like refractions. I can kind of see it, but I know what I'm looking for. Is that... Focus, please? Focus? There we go. You can kind of see it. Look at how chipped and battered that edge is. Sure, some of that might be like sawdust on the edge. Ooh, look at that, where the shine like doesn't actually go. Look at how chipped and battered that edge is. Anyways, this is still my second sharpest tool here. This, obviously being a razor blade, clearly the sharpest thing. But, and showing it's not just for logic's sake that that's the sharpest thing. Like it is clearly depicted to be the sharpest, but I need a sharpener for these chisels because these things are pretty cool. They were only like $20 for this whole set of them. There's more than just like all these frickin' things. I mean, like, I rarely am ever gonna use this thing, which like carves divots. Here, it carves like tracks. I don't know where I'll do it on the back. Look at that. It carves like channels. I don't know when I'll ever really use that. I used that on the companion cube a while ago. This thing? Oh, speaking of that, should I? Ah, fuck it. I wonder if the paint is gonna make it like... Let's see. This is such a weird, we're jumping to a different project here, but I've wanted to cut the corners. I didn't realize the companion cube had like rounded-ish corners. I gotta cut this down. Come on, come on. Oh, this is totally going against the grain, ain't it? Yeah, but doesn't really matter. If it's thin enough, going against the grain is not good for wood carving, but if it's thin enough, it doesn't really matter. They can kind of like, you can see already. No, you can't. No, you can't. The white paint makes this thing so damn reflective. But if it's like a thin enough edge or like a small enough amount of cut, you can go against the grain fine. With wood cutting, it doesn't like look perfect, but who cares? I'll probably do more of this later, but it just reminded me that I need to do that. I'm a very slow artist, but oh, that's so weird. I don't have a lot of energy drinks. Um, but I feel like I'm saying but a lot. Anyways, I was feeling very drowsy before stream, and a side effect of like the flu shot is that you're supposed to get like a little sleepy. So I was like, oh, perfect time to bust out an energy drink or try out like a new one, because I like trying new flavors of shit. And wowza, do they like taste funky nowadays? I remember when it was just like, oh, you want a big energy drink? Get a Red Bull or a Monster. And when I was very young, probably too young to even have Monster, like safely, I was visiting my grandma in a like hospital, and for some reason my aunt was driving me, and we were at like a CVS, or we were at like a 7-Eleven, and I was like, ooh, can I have this? And it was a full ass, I think it was literally the zero sugar white Monster. And she's like, does your mom let you have that? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she got it for me, and I was like bouncing off the walls in this like very seldom old people's hospital. My grandma's still fine. She's even in that hospital. I think she like hurt herself. I think she broke a hip or something like years ago. She's fine. She's still kicking. She's chilling. She's kind of the goat, actually. But um, I was probably like an absolute menace that day. I don't really remember it too well. Na, 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 na. Damn, they're having a whole hullabaloo up there. Should I just go for it? Should I just nut up and shut up? Should I just like eat the words of my ancestors and throw down the gauntlet? I feel like I butchered a bunch of analogies there, but certainly try. Na, 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 na. Cut. Yes. Cut. Yes. Okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. Hmm. Ooh. Just need to relax. I don't. I don't know if it's that I don't do a lot when I do drink energy drinks, but or otherwise. I drink caffeine other than energy drinks. Actually, my preferred um method of ingesting caffeine is tea. But even when I have that, I don't feel like how imagine an energizing chemical should make you feel. You know what I mean? I'm always pretty placid, like regularly, but caffeine doesn't really change that for me. Maybe it like I does do one thing where I just can't not do something, or I can't like, well, I can stop focusing. I just can't like turn off my brain when I'm on caffeine. But other than just like thinking of something, it doesn't really make me like hyper. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense, but I don't really know. And you might be like, well, if you can't turn off your brain, you're pretty hyper already. Not really. Like, I could be placidly thinking about the machinations of our greater universe. And I'm like, hmm, interesting. I don't know. Caffeine doesn't really affect me like that. I don't really know. I feel like I'm not even just scratching myself all over the place. I think I like goofy cartoonish humor, but being a PNG tuber does kind of take aback some of the more physical comedy I could get up to, being like a flesh tuber or whatever. But I do prefer not showing my face because I have resting like want to kill your whole family face. I do have resting bitch face to a major degree. Or I have resting like smug asshole face. I'm not gonna lie. I have resting like I'm just gonna go on insulting myself. But you know, like those people in um cinema who like eat apples obnoxiously loud and like do villainous monologues. I have like resting that face where I'm just kind of like a smug dick. I just have like a resting smirk that doesn't really leave my face. I've gotten in trouble for it a lot, especially like solemn speeches. Don't really like when the speecher is like looking around and sees my ass just being like, hmm. I'm like, my mouth is kind of like, no, 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 no. It's like this, and then just like an upturned smirk a little bit. Does that make any sense? Like that. That doesn't really make any sense. But I'll give you an example. I'm kind of dancing around the example because I kind of look like an asshole here. But it wasn't my fault. All right, I wasn't doing anything. It's just how my face looks because I like don't want to have a resting like face. Um, so I purposely trained myself to have a little like baby smile always on. And it's not even wrong. Like I'm a pretty jolly person, but it doesn't really come into uh assist me in these circumstances. So for my high school, back in my high school days, to get a parking pass, like for kids to drive to school, you need to sit through the school's mandated like safe driving like lecture, right? It wasn't even a course. You obviously you still need like your license and all that crap, but to do stuff for the school, you needed to sit through their lecture, right? And I was there one day, and it's basically just like, uh, be safe driving or you will die, right? That was kind of the whole. That was their big like message: is you're gonna die if you don't safely drive. You don't take this seriously, and which is true. You should be very safe driving. Driving is very dangerous. Hell, I don't even like driving. I can do it pretty well. I think I'm like an okay driver, but I'm both not arrogant enough to say I'm ever a good driver, and I never want to like drive people because I don't like driving. I know some people are like, "Oh, it's so much freedom driving. Like you can go wherever you want. You can do whatever you want." I kind of just see it as a chore, another chore to get from point A to point B. I never really like jived with it too well. So, I'm like pretty serious about driving safety. I'm almost never like listening to anything when I drive. It's usually just me and my thoughts as like most of my entertainment. I'm very serious with driving. So I agreed with this like message. People should be very safe driving, and even letting kids like drive to school I'm like iffy on, because I know some of my friends who back in high school were fucking horrible drivers. Or this one girl in my high school literally like backed up into a car while it was parked in the like school parking lot. High schoolers are not great drivers. So I get it where it's practice, like driving to school every day is great practice. To keep people comfortable on the road too, blah blah blah. Let me get to the story, all right? Stop distracting me. So we gotta do like this mandatory um school uh meeting, basically, where all the kids and their parents who want to have their kids drive to school, go into school this one night and listen to a bunch of like volunteer talkers. Okay. And so I do this, and I'm sitting next to a few of my buddies, and we're not like dicking around, but we're just like sitting next to each other because where else are you gonna sit? Not next to your friends? You look like a fucking weirdo. And then my parent was sitting with my friend's parent over yonder, or my mom was sitting with like some random parent that she knew there. Whatever, that doesn't matter. But all you need for the story is that I was away from my parents, and we were like in a pretty recognizable place in the auditorium that this meeting was having. There was like probably a few hundred people in this auditorium, but the way it was set out is there were three let me do this with a pencil, dumbass. I have two pencils. I have one in the like pencil shreddings, and I have one just not. Let me actually, why don't I flip to another page? Flip to a free page of this, and we're gonna be doing a little bit of storytelling. So the stage is like here, right? Yeah, the knife is closed. Okay. And then there's seats here, there's seats here, there's seats here, and then farther back, yes, I'm right. There's like a walkway here, and then like a brick wall, walkway here, and then like a brick wall, stairs going up to the auditorium. You guys are getting it so far. And then like walkway, and then more seats here. This is way too big. It's like that big. More seats here, but like a raised surface. You guys know what an auditorium is. No seats here. Well, actually, yes, seats like here, but much smaller, because here are the doors. The doors are right here, and then another set of seats here. So the people speaking are like here-ish, right? And I was sitting right here. All right? And so let me, for scale, this is probably like me to them, like 100 feet. Okay? Not really close at any means, but like back here, probably like 200 feet. It's not to scale, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. So I was sitting here with a few of my buddies, and they're all like not the delinquent buddies I got. All right, they're probably some of the most kosher ass like milk toast buddies I have. Not even well, I don't mean like pasty whiteness, but I mean like personality wise. They're good friends of mine, and I enjoy them. They're funny, whatever. All the compliments I could give, but they aren't like mean mugging delinquents, if you catch my drift. Like, I'm not even trying to insult them, but I'm trying to like set the stage here. They're not kooky looking, they're not crazy, but I'm at all the way at the edge, and then my buddy, and then my other buddy. My parent is probably like over here somewhere, and their parents are probably like over here somewhere. And so the people are talking, and I'm sitting there with my smirk, and I'm like engaged. All right, maybe some things are a little boring. They kind of just keep going on about like people dying, whatevs. And so this one guy goes up who was like a former firefighter, I think, or it was for more like former like EMT, I think. And he goes up and he tells this very sad story about his daughter dying, and then like him being the first responder to his daughter dying. And he was like the mean ass. He was like kind of the tough cop of the presentation, where he like spoke the longest, and he gave the biggest like shit to everyone about like how serious this is. And like you could tell he does this speech. All these are like, there's a bunch of different people like speaking. There's probably like 20 different consecutive speeches given by people, some short, some long, mostly like pretty compelling, right? But he was, I think, the last one, or like second to last. He was very close to the end, so he got a bunch of time. They gave him a bunch of time because he like goes into a lot of detail, goes like takes it seriously, and then he talks to the like crowd afterwards about like how serious this is. And midway through his story, he's like, "You there," snaps and look and points in this general direction, like here to like here. You can kind of tell he was pointing in this general direction. And I was like, oh, some dude was being an asshole. And I like look around a little bit. So do some of my buddies, like trying to see what dickheads were like laughing at his very tragic story. And he's like, no, you, with the stupid smirk. And now, because like, you see someone point once and you're like, okay, it can be in this general area. But now I've like, I probably should put his dot like here. Now you see someone point a little, like a second time, you're like, okay, I kind of get where he's pointing. And he's pointing like here-ish. Does that, like here, where the only real place it could be is me and then like this group, I think that's in front of us, that is also like or I think the group in front of us was being like kind of asshole-ish, but we could tell, but maybe he couldn't. And so he goes on this big tirade, just chewing us out, being like, you think it's fucking funny, huh? You think it's funny how, and you guys get it. This was quite a few years ago, so I don't remember all of it, but it was very sad. And I didn't think it was funny, but he's going on this, and this, and he's like, I don't think you fucking understand how serious this is. And he's going. And I'm just sitting there like, holy shit. Is he yelling at me? And then I look at my friends and I'm talking to them. And I'm like, is he yelling at us? And then he's like, yeah. And he's like, don't you go fucking talking to your friends again. I'm talking to you. As I'm like conversing with my friends, being like, is he talking to us? I'm freaking my shit out. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. And so he like cold sweat breaks out of my body. I'm pretty like level headed, or I like depict neutrality. I'm pretty aura farming at most times of the day. I aura farm quite constantly, but I flip my shit on the inside. I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna get in trouble for doing nothing, and this guy's just like freaking out on me for doing nothing. And I felt bad for him too. I was like, that's such a sad story, what the hell? And yeah, that's why I that's my resting bitch face story, or resting like smirk story, and how it like bit me in the ass. Anyways, that's my TED talk. Here's my 2 pencils just going over here. I don't really know what happened. Like, I didn't get in trouble for it at all. I don't really know if he said anything, or if that was just like his like technique is that he would just pick out someone in the crowd, either that he knew was like fucking around, or that he saw was just talking or something, and he would just point them out and just ridicule them in front of the crowd, which is a pretty messed up way of like getting your point across. But I've like whatever, you know what I mean? It's kind of like those stand-up comics. Like this wasn't comedy by any means, but it's kind of like those stand-up comedians who do crowd work, but just kind of like bully the person they're doing crowd work with. And so, I've never seen a comedy show, which is very funny because I live in New York, which is kind of like one of the areas for stand-up comedy. Like it's here, it's LA, it's Florida, I think. But like big city, like Miami, like big cities with big like theater and whatever. I've never seen a stand-up comedy show. Very weird. But you see like clips of them doing crowd work and then just being a dick to the person, being like, "Oh, oh, you work with animals? I I didn't have a joke for this. I just kind of just jumped onto something." But you're like, "Holy shit, I don't think anyone will ever want to see your show live if you're this much of an asshole to your fans." But I don't know. I think it's kind of a scummy tactic. I don't know. I don't really know. Um, it's a little like I would certainly, if anyone's um doing crowd work, I would definitely want to go second or third, like seeing how they do it, because uh there's people who do crowd work very well, and then there's people who are like, "What's your job?" "That's a fucking stupid ass job." That sort of thing. Um, but I feel like stand-up comedy. I didn't know stand-up comedy was so huge. I think it was. Hmm, how do I state this? Because I think this is true, but I don't know how to like get it across to being true. I feel as though stand-up comedy has always been like a thing. It's been a thing for literal decades now. Court jesters even longer. Of people just like doing jokes in front of a live audience, whatevs. But I feel as though the act of stand-up comedy has become so much more famous because of like TikTok shorts and like YouTube in general, just kind of like spreading their usually very funny jokes across like a wider range of audiences, or like some that couldn't see it live are still able to see the jokes that are like their routine. You know what I mean? But I never thought of it as like a huge thing until the huge boom in like clips of comedians. You know what I mean? I thought it was like, "Oh, I know stand-up comedy is a job, but it's not really like a job." You know what I mean? And now it's like it's a freaking fad. Maybe not a fad, because fad implies that it's like very short-lived. This has been happening for like half a decade now. Since like 2000. People have been posting really popular um stand-up comedy sketches or like clips has become like a big thing. Maybe even before then, but like I wasn't really huge in the internet before then. I was pretty low key. I was pretty low key. I would just play video games most of the time. But now I'm a freaking internet dweller. A dweller in my cellar. Dweller? I barely know her. I don't know what I'm doing, man. God, strike me down. Aries! I need a good one. Give me a funny sketch that isn't about racism and my life is yours. I'm not gonna go into this bit, but I do feel. No, I'm just not gonna go into this bit. Scratch the last 5 seconds of audio. Rip it from the tapes. Aries, give me a good Netflix comedy special that isn't Amy Schumer, and my life is yours. Damn. I always get like a few seconds in. I get like a little bit more into this project every single time I do it. Not like into as in like entertain, but into as in like get into the weeds of it. And then I'm like talking for the rest of the stream. I think that maybe I should do like quick 20-second streams so I get the most like efficient bang for my. Holy, it's only been 30 minutes. I don't want to pay it, draw attention to the time, but fuck me, it feels like it's been like an hour. Ain't no way. This this flu shot hitting different, yo. This flu shot making me think time ain't working, yo. This flu shot's killing me, man. It's killing me. Aries. Let me finally finish this art project, and my life is yours. Just such a good scene. You could really fill it in with almost anything. I mean, let's go into this. I don't like the I don't like the God of War games. All right, like not the combat, not the storytelling, whatever. I don't like fucking Kratos. He's kind of an asshole. Like he's avenging his family's death by destroying the planet, and killing all these gods, which have like major repercussions. And like I get that, arguably, they've done like such horrible things that they deserve some repercussions, like very harsh repercussions, whatever. But like, I don't get this, and this is coming from someone who I don't. I always feel uncomfortable drawing to the point, or drawing notice to the point that I'm ace, because I feel as though it's kind of like playing the LGBT card, being like, look, playing the rainbow card. That's a good one. Where it's like, I'm gay, so I have a different experience than you, or I'm whatever. You know what I mean? Uh, but I always like, I know like in the games, there, or in Greek myth, polyamory and like, if like sexual experience is not as like frowned upon, it's very popular in a lot of Greek myth, or it's very like explored in a lot of Greek myth, and whatever. But this guy is literally avenging his dead wife. Why is there a scene where you have to button mash like fucking what is it, like a nymph or whatever? That always struck me as like, what? You're not really here for your wife. You're here for like the idea of your wife. You don't really like jive that well with being whatever. I don't know. I feel like it just always rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, this feels like you aren't really here for anything other than your own revenge, and you're just kind of like living it up in the time in between fights. Which, like, whatever. Oh, I finished the Rocky movies. I should talk about that. I liked it. I liked that he didn't win. This is a very unpopular opinion that I have about a lot of movies and a lot of like media. I don't think the heroes should win as much. Like they always win. And that's like, I was pleasantly surprised. This isn't, Rocky came out in like the 80s. It's not a new movie, but I was pleasantly surprised that like, oh hey, he didn't win. That was cool. That was like, I'm so happy that Rocky didn't win. It was a shock to me. It was in this like 40-year-old movie. I hate to age you. It's probably not 40 years old, but this close to 40-year-old movie shocked me in a way that like not a lot of movies do. And obviously old media, or like media of any time period, has value in it because it's a human telling a story, and humans have creativity in a way that leads to interesting plot twists that you may not have seen coming. But it was like, whoa, I liked that his goal wasn't winning, because objectively, some like semi-serious, semi just like relatively fit boxer from Philadelphia should not beat the heavyweight champion of the fucking world in boxing. No matter how sick as hell the theme music was in his montage, that doesn't matter. No matter how many like pig carcasses he punched, you shouldn't. There's just like a level of seriousness and skill over years that is not easily gapped. And I know in the second one he wins. I haven't seen the second one or the third one, but I know he wins because in the third one, I know that he fights as the world champion against the Russian dude. I hate to spoil these movies, but like, okay, if he already fought the champion of the world, and he's now at that like stage level, I understand that he might take boxing a little more seriously and get into better and better shape and skill and whatever. But like, I understand how he may have won in the second one, depending on how long the time skip is, or the time gap is between them. Um, that makes sense to me. That's like, okay, whatever. But it made both logical sense that he shouldn't have won, and just like script writing sense. Rocky is not here to prove to anyone else besides him and maybe Adrian, who is his love interest, that he is not a bum. He's here for himself and no one else. That's why he specifically, it's like shown that he doesn't really care about like the media. He's like, yeah, whatever, man. And then at the end, when they're trying to like mob him, he's just yelling for Adrian, right? It's shown that he doesn't really care about anyone else's opinion besides himself and maybe Adrian. I'm saying maybe Adrian because it is kind of like a self-drawn movie or like drived movie where Adrian's just there as like, I don't want to say his nothing love interest, because I think they have an interesting dynamic. I like that he's all brawn and like barely any brain, and she's mostly brain and no brawn, and so they like even each other out. I think that's cute. I think 40 years ago, the romance of like the pursuer and the pursuee was much different than today, so it did eke me out a little bit. Like the romance scene kind of, it's a little rapey in Rocky. It was a little we're not going to get into that, but I did think like overall, if it was translated to a modern like sensibility, I think their dynamic would be very cute. Like what was I getting onto? Oh, but I liked the message. I like that he didn't win. I think that even if Rocky won, it would be a worse movie. If Rocky got all the accolades and becomes the world heavyweight champion, it'd be so much worse of a movie because he wasn't here for anyone else's fame. He wasn't here for the belt at that time. He wasn't a challenger for the belt. He was a challenger for someone else's entertainment. And he chose not to really fight for the win, but he chose to fight for himself to prove that he really was someone. I like that. I liked the movie. Obviously, it's like a 40-year-old movie. Some translations that like don't really fit in our modern view of the world. Lot of like, I thought it was weird that Rocky was smoking through the whole thing. I'm like, you're literally training to be a professional athlete. It's kind of the last thing you should be doing, but I don't know. I guess it was kind of like their thing back in the day. Kind of like cool back in the day or whatever. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it more than I thought, and in different ways than I thought. I'm not gonna lie, I did get like Nam flashbacks to when they were like hyped up for the fight and like they were in the locker room or whatever. I was like, oh god. So the pre-match jitters, I know what you mean, Rocky. Where like you're getting set up and you're like all serious and crap. I can never take myself seriously right before a wrestling match. I was always like giggling or like laughing at something. I just like could not be that serious with it. Um, yeah, they were giving me nom flashbacks. It was very fun. It was just a very neat movie. It like really, I think if I kept with, because I boxed for like a year before I did any wrestling. I think if I kept with it, I could have been pretty all right. I'm good at combat sports. I don't want to. This is a weird thing to brag about, but wrestling I was pretty good at. I only quit doing it because the coach sucked. But I enjoyed doing it. The exercise was nice to like get an insane level of fitness in with like just pushing yourself because it wasn't really that hard. You just like turn off your brain and keep working out. But it was just the time and the coach that both hated my guts and I hated his that just didn't work out. But that's kind of sad. I don't know. If I ever like make myself do a sport again, I think it would be boxing because I had a lot of fun doing it when I did that for a year. Just fun punching something. I hate to say it. I hate to be the bearer of truth here, but if you go out and punch something, it's just fun. How you doing, Fawn? How are you doing? I doing pretty damn good. Doing pretty damn good myself. I'm still working on this stupid ass flower that I hate its guts because it's stopping me from doing more art because it's just in my way. Um, but punch slow. I'm getting a car tire replaced. Ooh, it's a fine flower, I suppose. Whatever, man. It's an alright flower, but it's just in my way, dude. It's a wall. All that chomp the way this flower's in my way. No. Oh, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. Cause like chomps are in the way of Mario levels. That wasn't it. Are they called chomps? Are they called like chomp plants or whatever? I don't know. Whatever. I actually had a whole story about cars or driving related. Fawn. It was about me getting yelled at about this dude thinking I was making fun of his dead daughter. It sounds so much worse like that. But I wasn't the bad guy here. I swear. I was the neutral party who was getting falsely accused and it wasn't my fault. I'll go over like the cliff notes of it. So I have like I was talking about like um how I lose a lot of uh physical comedy unless in like these hand streams where it's just like me doing art or whatever. I lose a lot of like even then I lose a lot of like physical comedy when my face and my like facial expressions in my mouth and my general mannerisms aren't being told. I think I lose a lot because I'm a very expressive person. Um, but most of the time, like outside of doing anything without even like thinking about anything, I have a general like uplifting of my right cheek. I have a little bit of a snarky smirk for most things. Not even like intentionally. I just like I didn't want to not have a smile because I have like resting I'll fucking murder you face for no reason. Um because I'm like always kind of focused on something. So I'm like too focused and I look like I'm about to kill someone. So I was like, oh, I'll just have a smirk. And so now I look like a classic Bond villain, just like smirking at you. I look like I would eat an apple, like obnoxiously, and tell you my evil scheme about sharks and lasers and such. Went with my little smirk. And so we were doing this like school related in high school, to get a car pass. My high school required a like you to sit in for their driving safety, like what's the word? Shit. Like ceremony. No, not it's like in an auditorium, and it's like a bunch of guest speakers come and visit, and they go talk about like safe driving and how if you don't safe drive, you're gonna die. It was basically just like fear mongering, which I think is very funny related to driving. My whole side tangent here, my whole driver's ed experience was split up into 2 hours. Hour one was in class just watching. For some reason, my driver's ed instructor had a plethora of videos of people just dying. I'm not joking. It was the most terrifying thing ever. He just had file after file after file of just heinous car accidents. And that was my driver's ed. Like, he would just be like, wanna know what this guy did wrong? He didn't look both ways. Let's watch him have an 8-car pileup. 15 died in this thing. That was my driver's ed thing for the first hour. The second hour was like, go drive on the road for like maybe your first time. Go have fun. It was terrifying. This was like one of the spookiest experiences of my whole life. I was like, oh, holding the steering wheel in like these rental cars or in these like Toyota Tacomas or whatever they got, and the driver's ed thing freaked me out. But my school had like this thing where if you needed a driver pass, you needed to sit in for like their safe driving seminar. That's what I was looking for, seminar. And I could like do art while I can't focus on one thing or another, so I'm just gonna keep telling the story. So one of the final talkers talked about like this very tragic story about his daughter dying, and it was really sad. I was very like, oh gosh, that's horrible. I was very empathetic, and I like leaned over to my buddy who I drew a whole because I talked about this earlier today. I drew a whole floor layout. This is like the auditorium, what's the word? This is like the stage, and these are seats, 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 these are seats. Door. And then I was sitting like here, right? Probably like 100 feet is what I was guessing from the auditorium or from the stage. And this guy was telling a story, and I want you to be like, why did you tell me about your resting bitch face smile? This is where it comes into contact, because I was talking I like leaned over to my friend and be like, this is like super sad, and he stops the whole thing. He stops his whole speech about like, please don't be like my daughter who died and I was the first responder who found him because he was an EMT or whatever. It was heart-wrenching. Or found her because he was an EMT. He stopped this whole thing and he's like, you think this is fucking funny? And he was pointing in my general direction. I didn't know it was me because I was like being respectful, so I assumed that he would presume that I was being respectful, right? And oh, this is so distracting. There's just a whole ass spider right there. This is freaking me out. Nah, just climbing up the wall. It's whatever. Anyways, so he points at me, or he points in my general direction. He's like, you motherfucker, you think this is funny, huh? You think it's funny that my daughter died? And he's like pissed. And I like lean over to one of my buddies and I'm looking around, and he's like, why are you looking around? I'm talking to fucking you. And he points right at me. And he's like, yeah, you think this is funny, don't you? You think school you think driving safety is funny, huh? He's pointing at me. I'm like, no, it's not funny. It's blah, blah, blah. It freaked me the hell out. And so that's the end of my story. That's how my stupid smirk affected me. So end of story. That was the cliff note. I can't really tell this. I'm such a weird storyteller. I go into way too much nonsensical detail. But, yep. What do I talk about? I rehashed the whole story. What do I do? I don't know. I don't really know. That's the problem sometimes with these art streams is you're just like, what the hell do I freaking talk about? I'm carving away at this same ass thing for the last like 20 minutes. Okay. Um, should we do it? Should I do no? Should I start the flower? This is kind of scary actually. I mean, all right, we're gonna start it like this. I'm gonna carve out the bulb in as much like fine detail as I can. Okay, I might have to be a little quiet, serious time for this. I need to carve this bulb out as fine as humanly possible. As fine as humanly possible. Hmm. Um. I probably should have took a picture of this like final stage before I mayhaps ruin it. But you know what? I think if I keep thinking I'm gonna ruin it by touching it, I'm going to ruin it because I doubt myself. Fear is the mind killer, as they say. And this Fenky book named Dune, that made no sense. I never read the Dune books. I wasn't really into sci-fi books. You know what I mean? I do like from time to time I read some sci-fi books. They were never really my focus. I liked fantasy more. Um, like there's this good book called The Hail Mary Project that was very good. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Not horrible for like straight lined plant flower. Not bad. All right, it's outlined pretty okay. It's just such a catchy theme. I can't lie. They were kind of spoiled back then. In the 90s, when they had like dope ass original ish movies coming out every single uh year, it almost seemed. I mean, obviously it was like one movie a year, but now we get like 50 movies of schlocky quality. So, really, which trade do you want? Like one good movie every year or so, or 50 really like kind of shitty movies every year? I don't know. I think I'd take the one movie and just like enjoy it. Enjoy what you have, lest ye lose it without realizing its importance till the final moments. Ye laddie don't even understand what ye have. Okay. This is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the flower bud first. Go as deep as I think necessary. Necessary. Sorry. And then I'll like do the leaves later. Later. I'll do the leaves later. Okay, okay. Ooh, scary. Scary Terry, come on. Please get cut out. I beg you. This is like actually very stressful. Please do not make fun of me. This is scaring me, dude. Oh my gosh. And then here. Oof. Spooky. Okay. Okay. We're good. We got it. Let me have a sip of my liquid gold. But that makes it sound like it's piss. No, it's just an energy drink because I'm a little lethargic. And I'm treating myself. Here we go. All right, lock in. Lock in, y'all. Wasn't funny to begin with. Gotta lock in, y'all. This serious boy hours only. Like a craftsman with his craft, I'm crafting craftfully. In a crafty manner. Locked. I'm locked in. Na 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 na. I feel like, I should almost. Okay, we did all around the flower. Now we need to like deepen the thing. But I feel almost as though. Nah. Should I? I don't know. I'm thinking. So I want to do a caroling stream for the holidays. I think it's gonna be fun. But I'm like, I'm super nervous of caroling in front of a live studio audience. So I was like, how can I build up the courage to do so? And this seems like it might be the perfect circumstance of just like nutting up and just doing a song. I don't know. I'm too scared. I'm like talking myself out of it actually. I think it's going to be fun if I get the courage to do it, but I don't know. I feel as though I'm nervous a little bit for like new people popping in being like this guy's got a shitty voice. And I've been told I have a good voice. It's not that like, but I have to believe it by hearing other people believe it, and I don't know. But the thing I'm more worried about is like someone that I know popping in and then like not liking it. I mean, like I didn't know you had such shitty bagpipes on you, you gross, stupid streamer. That's gonna make me like cry, dude. No, but it would be like kind of devastating. You know what I mean? Be like, oh, someone who previously liked me is like, this guy's dog shit. This guy's horrible. So I don't know. That's my fear, y'all. My greatest fear is rejection. Nah, it's probably like sharks or something. I always love those like greatest fear like questionnaires or whatever where it's like what is your greatest fear? And then it's like the fear that everything will inevitably fade and like does your memory even really mean anything if in 100 years you'll be nothing but dust and no one alive will ever even know your name and who and what you believed in and who you were? And it's like uh that as like one second one is like do you think the fact that we probably like alone and in this universe, and there's no one that will ever really experience the human experience besides ourselves. We try to humanize all these animals into like having humanoid traits, but they don't really feel the same as we do. We're kind of alone in the fact that we're the only beings with true empathy on this earth. And then like the last one's like spiders. I always love that because it's like, yeah, I fucking hate spiders, dude. Oh, that always cracks me up because it's like, stop trying to like psych me out and try to like read me, dude. I just don't like spiders, all right? It's not because I hate rejection and like the many legs mean many more arms to both hug and hate me with. It's not why I hate spiders. I hate them because they're creepy and crawly and gross and they freak me out. And like, what if they bite me? I've actually been bitten by a spider. Total side tangent, but I haven't been bitten by a ton of things. Nah, that's not really true. I've been bitten by a few things. And I got bit by a spider once right here. And I didn't even fucking realize it. I didn't feel anything. Didn't like it wasn't painful at all. But like an hour later, I presume, I look at my arm and I'm like, why is there a golf ball in my arm? And it's like swollen out to here. It's crazy. And I'm like, damn, dude. This spider's got like mad venom in it. That's why I'm scared of spiders. Because they put golf balls in my arm. They put what in your arm? They put a golf ball in me. Doctor, take it out. Take it out. They're gonna put I don't know where that's from, but it's like, wonder why I'm scared. They got bombs in there. Wait, what is that? I gotta look this up. This is the classic midway through a stream, or like mostly to the end of a stream, when I remember something and I'm like, I gotta look that up. I gotta give that a little look-see poo. There's bombs in there, I think is no. The SpongeBob one where he's like, I have a bomb. Is pretty good. No, it's like I think it's like a vine. Vine? Yeah, it's where he's like, wanna know why I don't want to go to the doctor's office? Because they're gonna put bombs in me. Yeah, that's it. They're gonna put bombs in me. Put bombs in their vine. Yes. Wait, is that it? No. Where the hell is this? There's no bombs. Yo. Dude. What happened? Where did the bombs go? There's no bombs. Whatever. Bombs are gone. Bombs away, if I say. Oh, that one was bad, dude. They gotta stop me from making these jokes. I think that's scaring away the peeps. It's scaring away the views. You're scaring the viewers. You're scaring the viewers. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. No. I mean, it's gonna buff out eventually, but damn you. Why they put bombs in there, dude? Why they put bombs in there? Got bombs in there. I have to find that. I got to find it. And then I'll be happy with life if I just find the bombs vine. It's such a cool soundtrack. Like, yeah, I'm pumped to fight the world champion. With that sound behind me, how could I not be? The world heavyweight champion of the world. I did like Apollo Creed, but I think that's because I was a really big Muhammad Ali fan, like fanboy when I was really into boxing. I was just like he was he was so cool. He was the champion of the world and he was fly as hell doing it. No wonder everyone loved him. But um I I thought it was weird how like this is such an alternate universe where this random I don't think there was ever a boxer named Apollo Creed. Like they had to make the boxers in this movie like unknown or like not real. So like it's a story about perseverance and it's not like whose historical boxer was the best. And I get that part, but they had fucking Joe Frazier in there, which was like if you don't know who Joe Frazier is, um I'm pretty sure that's the right it might be like John Frazier or whatever. Or maybe Joseph Frazier boxing. Yeah, Joe Frazier is like I think he fought Muhammad Ali. He's like one yeah, he wait. Yeah, he is like one of the big people who fought Muhammad Ali. Like he was one of the best boxers in the world. And they just had him in the movie. I don't really know why. Like Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed, a boxer. He's a fictional character. He was really like I have to admit, they like really made the movie stars work for it. And like back in the day, especially, damn. But I don't know. It would just why did was Joe Frazier in the movie? Like I guess he made a guest appearance. It was such a weird part of it. I was like, okay, I guess one of the heavyweight, like real world heavyweight um contestants of the world is just gonna show up for this movie. Sure, man. Um, what are some aspects that I also thought were interesting about Rocky? Hmm. I liked his house. Um, I do find it very funny that back in the 80s that was considered like a dump and arguably like sure it was a little run down, but with a coat of paint, dude's got like like 1,000 square foot in an apartment in like middle in the middle of Philly. Dude, that's like a kind of expensive apartment now. That's like a kind of a lot of expensive apartment right now. And they're like, yeah, this place is a fucking dump. Let me depict how much of a dump it is by having like beer bottles everywhere. Yeah, dude. But like, that's just a normal apartment now. Normal intercity apartment. And I was looking at it being like, look at the square footage, bro. He's got a bed and like a whole ass living room in his apartment in the middle of Philly, and he's supposed to be like struggling to find like odd money. He's working for the damn mob, and he's got that, or he's like forced to work as like an enforcer for the mob, and he's got an apartment looking like that. What the fuck? Wouldn't that's the most unrealistic thing of the whole movie. It's not that some Joe Schmo went the distance with a heavyweight champion, uh, like just out of nowhere with barely any like real serious boxing training. It wasn't any of that. It was that Rocky was considered like not affluent of the time. Makes you want to run through a wall, dude. That like composer was cray cray. He was just chefing it up in like the mid 80s for no reason. He's like, yeah, for this random ass movie. Was I don't know a lot of like I watched it just with a few of my friends together, so I don't know like a lot of the backstory of it. I know Sylvester Stallone wasn't really that affluent, or I keep saying affluent. I mean like, am I saying that right? Because I know what I mean, and it's a similar word. Um, I'm looking it up again. Affluent. Yeah, a great deal of money.
Affluent.
Yep, it's affluent. I was right. But like I'm pretty sure the story goes is that Sylvester Stallone was like kind of poor and he got like this role out of nowhere and it like turned his life around. Or he was very like down on his hard on his luck and this role like turned his life around or whatever. But I don't really know. I don't know how like popular this movie was originally, like before debuting, how like huge was this movie? I had no clue. Same thing with like Star Wars. Like we know of it now because Star Wars is such a famous franchise, but how popular was it like the night of its release? That's what I want to know. I think that would be way more interesting to learn about than like Glup Shido and how uh he's technically the strongest Jedi to ever exist. I always thought that was so dumb about Star Wars. Like the Force is treated as some it's literally like an all present, all powerful mass of energy that anyone can tap into, no matter if they're like the minorest bit force sensitive to the strongest force sensitive ever, or like literal Jesus Christ of the Force, Anakin Skywalker, born of no father but the Force itself. Like it's supposed to be like all encompassing and all powerful or whatever. But the strongest thing we see of it is like, I think literally in the Star Killer games is this guy lifting up like a TIE fighter, or not like lifting up one of the big old ships, which is a lot, but I feel like it's kind of the huge feats in this universe should be huger. They shouldn't need a Death Star. I think Darth Vader should be able to like blow up a planet by himself. Make that some DBZ shit. I always thought that was very like weird. I don't know, it like didn't feel that powerful, especially in the first movie. But I guess they kind of power scaled it out the wazoo after that, where like they still kind of wanted a down to earth thing, but this guy's got superpowers. They can't be down to earth in any way. That's why like a world, I always like kind of scoff unless a superhero medium really like downplays the world. I always am like the tectonic plates should be like molten dust by like 10 years after superpowers are like widely accessible. Like DC like for how many super powered fights are in like the DC or Marvel universe, the planet should be fucking gone by now. And I know it gets destroyed every once in a while, but like the literal foundations of this earth should be gone after so many like destructive battles on its face. And after like so much stuff happening. So if they don't like limit the power scaling or like make power scaling very weird, or like powers oddly specific or underpowered in some way, I always feel in a superhero thing like this planet should be gone, especially stuff like this has nothing to do with my opinion on Dispatch. I think it's a good choose your own adventure game. I've never played it, but my friend really likes it. He says it's really fun. But in like a casual-ish superhero-esque world where it's not Marvel or DC, it's just like kind of background filling of a superhero world, you see like Superman represent like Superman mimics all the time, and you're like, that dude should have like, there should be a story about that dude flying through like a skyscraper or something fucked up, right? Like, I feel as though the damage a superhero world shows is not equal, or like the constant decay a superhero world should be in is not really shown. Like, if there's a fight that blows through half the fucking city and knocks down 5 skyscrapers every, like, bi-weekly, this city should be gone. There's no, like, practical... Do you know how long New York City is under... Like, it takes for a New York City building to be under construction? It takes, like, half a decade for that thing to get its first, like, floor in. Are you kidding me? Like, what are the construction teams in these worlds like? I always, like, it just baffles me. I think I finally made my point. I was kind of, like, scrambling there for a second, but I think I made it. Finally. That's why you guys should read Worm. No, I'm not gonna not self-promote, but, like, promote like that. I mean, it's really good. You should read Worm, but... You can do that on your own time. I won't promote it like this. Okay. I think it's coming together a little well. I'm kind of shocked on how good this is going. I would like it to be deeper, but you do. I just can't get it out of my head. It's just there now. I can't get it out of my head. I don't know where that was from. But it's just there. What can you do? Is it Wo hist du? Is how are you in German? I don't know. I think it's Wo hist du. Wo hist du? Toll. Saying toll in the most not great manner. Well, I'm doing gut or whatever. Like, not really. God, no. Come on. Come on, mate. Not the Australian accent. That means stuff is real serious. That means it's really coming out to play, huh? The Australian, come on, mate. That's how you know I'm getting, like, tired. I'm out of my energy drink. My energy levels, they're flagging. Send a message to the mothership. My energy levels, they're flagging. Readings seem all good from up here, mate. No! I'm just being a lazy doobie. Doobie? Doobie. I'm jumping. I'm jumping too much here, bud. Doobie doobie dooba doobie doobie dooba. Harry. Phineas and Ferb was so good. Is so good. I actually haven't seen the new season. I hear they came out with a new, like, season 5 is brand spanking new. Like, they ended the series for a while, but just came back. And apparently it's really good, but I haven't seen it, and I kind of want to. But, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, man. This looks good right now, but it needs to be like quarter of an inch deeper because these flowers, their tips need to be like right here. And so it going inwards is going to be like not that much. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be like perspective. It's supposed to be like close to you here and like farthest away over here. But I don't know. How long have I been going? Oh, wow. I've been going for an hour and a half ish. I think I'll end it off here then. Because I'm petrified that I will lose it. Yeah. I enjoyed today. I'm happy that I got to get some streaming in before I leave for the weekend to go off to Rhode Island. Oh, they named a whole island off of this road? Crazy. No, it's a state. I really enjoyed today. I hope all of you had some fun as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys later, probably. I don't know. Sunday, I will be back. I don't know what time I'll be back. I might be back like late Saturday night, or I might be back middle of Sunday and like too tired to do anything. Who knows? But I hope to see y'all in my next stream. Either I'll be doing this or I'll be doing something else. I'm thinking about doing that analog horror watch along some more because I want to get back into it. Or I want to jump back into that. But I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye. Recording. I hope you're doing well as well. Bye-bye.